wait for this plane. Though we got that background, for some reason, plane audios. Okay. Or helicopter. And the tail's gonna call in the chopper. Okay, I am rolling. And first of all, what is your name and spell it for me?
My name is Terry, Terry, Abdi.
Ari?
Abdi.
Ari Abdi.
No, Terry.
Terry. Okay, got it. And just look at me, pretend the camera's not there. What is your title here?
I'm one of the developers, one of the partners.
And this project has been in development for how long now?
For about 7 years.
And tell me what is being developed on this property?
3 houses, 3-story residences.
Tell me about it.
About the 3 houses?
Yeah.
Each one of them is approximately 3,800 square feet with 2 to 3 car garage. That's pretty much it.
As I've been reported, this development has been embroiled in a lot of city politics and local politics. Tell me about this. Tell me about that.
So the source of the dispute was
Sure. Sure.
The source of the dispute was an originally volunteered animal corridor. It was volunteered by the developer a few years ago. And the source of the dispute, or the main dispute, is the path of the corridor.
And when you say volunteered by the developer, was that you or was that another developer?
Was that one of my partners.
And so what is the status of that?
The status of that is that the corridor has been designated, recorded, and assigned to the Santa Monica Conservancy. The source of the dispute right now is about 18 inches to 2 feet, which is the interpretation of the residents compared to us. And the only reason the dispute is not settled is because the residents are unwilling to sign on their revised map, because it will end the dispute. And then you cannot have Channel 4, you cannot raise money, you cannot do anything. It will end it. And that's the only reason why the dispute is not settled.
So you're talking about 18 inches.
18 to 24 inches by about 6 to 8 feet.
And
that's it.
Who came up with the difference?
They did. The residents did.
And just playing the devil's advocate, why will the developer not acquiesce to those 18 inches?
Well, the map that was provided by the Santa Monica Conservancy was not super accurate. That means that it was not a survey map, and you can interpret it one way or another. And the difference in the interpretation between the developer and the city, that means the city agrees with the developer, and the residents, is about 18 to 24 inches by about 6 to 8 feet. It's a map that they provided by a survey. And the only reason it's not resolved is because they are unwilling to sign on that map. It will end the dispute.
It sounds to me that it's really not resolved because of interpretation.
That's correct.
And that sounds pretty arbitrary. How would you answer to that?
Again, I'm not following you.
In other words, it sounds arbitrary because when someone says it's interpreted as such, they interpreted
No, they provided an accurate interpretation, only they are not willing to commit to it. If they'll commit to it, it will end the dispute.
It sounds to me like there's either a big misunderstanding.
There is a misunderstanding.
Or a choice of interpretation.
It's not a choice of interpretation. Even if, and we are not at the moment, but even if we accept the map that they are provided, they are not willing to come and say, that's what we want, and this will end it.
Why do you think they're not willing to do that?
Because I think that what they're not enjoying, but they're in the process. They're interested in prolonging the dispute and not resolving it. It's a very simple solution. They just need to provide an accurate map, which they did. They need to sign on the map that that's all they want, and that will end the dispute.
So they want to bog you down in lawsuits.
The big bad developer,
and
they're interested, and they can raise money. They can put sign on Laurel Canyon. They can do all the things that they're doing right now. They can bring kids. They can do everything. It sounds great, only it's completely inaccurate. Completely.
So,
and it can be resolved in 10 minutes.
Do you think it's really about wildlife?
I don't think it's about wildlife. And we have letters which I'm more than happy to provide you with. I can email it to you. from animal rights. They're not aware of that, but we brought some animal rights groups into here. Their concern is what's going to happen once the animals are on Stanley Drive. There's a solid wall all the way from Lookout to the street above us. That means once the animals reach Stanley Drive, you'll have increased incidents of roadkill, which will be extremely dangerous for the animals and of course for the residents. There's another, if you're going up the hill and looking at the other side, there's another layer of fences on the other side of the houses. So it's 2 layers of fences for animals to cross. But regardless whether it's for animals or not, it doesn't matter. The corridor was assigned, the corridor was designated to the Santa Monica Conservancy. The dispute is very minimal. It can be resolved in 10 minutes, and the only reason it's not resolved is because the residents are not willing to commit to the map that they provided. That's the only reason. They're interested in prolonging the dispute. As simple as that.
How come you have the wildlife corridor fenced in?
What do you mean?
You have fenced in even your interpretation of the corridor. Why do you have it fenced in?
I'll tell you exactly what we're fencing. The wildlife corridor is going to be, well, it was designated already to the Santa Monica Conservancy. This is a construction site.
Why do you have it fenced in?
This is a construction site. There's a safety issue. People can walk in, people can wander in. That fence can be moved into the line of the Santa Monica, of the corridor itself, in about 10 minutes. It's a safety issue. The corridor is about 10 feet on our driveway, and it will be moved away once the driveway is in. It's very simple.
But the city condition doesn't allow you to do that. You have fenced in an easement that you said you gave.
Just so you understand, we have a developer here arguing with the lawyer.
Yeah, I got that on video.
We didn't know that this is going to happen.
No.
I was just in the area and I drove by.
And I'm just documenting it. I'm not taking sides. Sir, I have a question to you in regards to that. He brings up a very good point. I would venture to say that lawyers have been approached many times before because there may have been a security issue or a safety issue due to a fence that was not there in a construction site. Is that not a viable answer to that?
No, the fence should be on their land, not the easement. They can provide safety for the construction site by adding the fence on the area where they're constructing. They do not have a right to put a fence on an easement. You just heard him say, we gave an easement to the Conservancy. Well, you can't give an easement and then take it away by a fence. So you should easily solve this problem by moving the fence away from the easement.
So let me ask you very specifically. When you're saying the easement, are you referring to the easement that's on our property or the easement that's outside our property? Because on our property, the easement that is part of the driveway has about 10 feet inside the driveway. That needs to be leveled. It needs to be built. It needs to be built. The driveway needs to be built. It's not built yet. Per the decision, we are allowed to build the driveway on it. Is that correct or not?
No, that's not correct.
What do you mean that's not correct? We're supposed to have a driveway on the easement.
You're not building a driveway right now.
We're supposed to have a driveway on the easement.
Are you building the driveway right now?
We're in the process of grading and finishing the driveway.
Who owns this property? Who do you own this property?
That particular
In your name?
No.
Whose name is that in?
That particular is under your COPS.
It's under his name?
Correct.
How come the title records show it as Stanley Hills Drive LLC?
That's the LLC, but he's the general manager of the LLC.
Yeah, well, that's another condition.
You're going right now into legal issues. Right. You're going now into legal issues, and we're talking about principal issues. We're supposed to build the driveway. The fence right now, the corner of the fence, I'll be more than happy to walk with you over there, is exactly on the corner of the property. Exactly. It's exactly
we know
there.
it is.
What you're asking me to do is to jeopardize everybody that lives in the area, everybody that can walk and wander into the
we're asking you to follow the conditions
That's
that
not
you
what you're asking
agreed
me.
to.
What you're asking me,
You
what you're trying to do.
You granted an easement
Yes.
for wildlife, and you have fenced it in. So we can solve this very simply if you follow the conditions that you agreed to. You follow those, lawsuit is over.
That's not correct. Yeah, you're willing to sign on that? So remove
Absolutely.
the fence?
No.
Remove the fence.
And record new covenants
per which
proper property owner.
Per which map?
Mr. Attia is
That's
not
fine.
the property owner.
Per which Per which map?
He lied
Per
when he
which
signed
you're
the
again
covenant.
you're again going into statements that are unsubstantiated.
Not unsubstantiated. His name is on the covenant. He signed under penalty of perjury that he owns these lots. And he doesn't. And you know he doesn't.
It was corrected. This is a technical issue that he's talking about.
Technical issue. Following the rules is a technical issue.
Since then it was corrected. Since then
it hasn't been corrected.
It has been corrected.
Show
I'll
us.
be more than happy.
Show us today the corrected document.
And I'll email it to you. I'll be more than happy to do that. And he's talking about technical issues. He's not willing to resolve the dispute. If you're willing to sign off on the revised map, that will be the end of it. But it will be the end of the case for you. And it's a horrendous situation for you. You guys do not want to finish the dispute. You don't want to. You're not interested in doing it.
We're interested
in
having you
prolonging
We're interested in you
dispute.
having followed
Here
the
again,
rules.
we're getting the
You
politicians.
you don't follow the rules.
We're not getting substance.
That's
substance,
why
we're getting
we'll
politicians.
be
How do you say to that if you just sign the dispute, it'll be over?
There's 3 conditions that are subject to the lawsuit. He just admitted that it's a technical issue that the right property owner didn't sign the right legal documents. Well, if he corrects those conditions, the lawsuit goes away. It's as simple as that. But they haven't, and they won't.
How do you answer the fact that he's saying that that the residents have refused to do it, that they're just trying to prolong it and bog this down in lawsuits?
Absolutely untrue based on the fact that these residents signed an agreement to allow this project to be built. Why do they want to prolong a development and have more noise and more construction activity? That's absolutely ridiculous.
Thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you very much. I'll be, by the way, more than happy to email you those documents. So if you want.